Hey everyone, it's Simone Watson. Happy Valentine's Day. Today I want to talk about the basics of what makes a novel a romance novel. Um, as I have just said, today is Valentine's Day, so there's lots of talk of romance and, there's kiss pitch going on today where people are pitching their romance novels. Um, Romance as a genre, as a book genre, is huge. Um, and I think that it is a good idea for, writers and, readers, if you're watching this and you're a reader, to understand what makes a novel a romance. Because some people are writing a book and don't know where to classify it. And knowing where to classify it is going to be important when you go and you try to get agents or editors' attention. Okay? Plus, to help you do, go with the conventions of the genre. I will have a video soon about single or dual POV, and one of the places we see dual POV a lot is in the romance genre. Okay, so what is a romance novel? Is it a novel with some romance in it? No. You could write a space opera and it could have romance in it. You could write any genre of book and there could be romance in it. There could be a romantic subplot. That does not make the novel a romance novel. You don't want to erroneously call something a romance novel that is not. Again, when you're seeking an agent or an editor. So I will show you 3 books and I'm going to ask you which one is a romance novel. Okay. So the first one is The Memory Keeper's Daughter by Kim Edwards. The second one is 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. And the third one is Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. My copy is so beat up. Yes, I have owned this book since like 2008. Okay. So, of those 3, you could probably guess which one is romance novel. If I told you only one of them is romance novel, you could probably guess. But I will tell you, it is Twilight. Why is it that 13 Reasons Why is not a romance novel and The Memory Keeper's Daughter is not a romance novel? Well, we'll start with The Memory Keeper's Daughter because this is the kind of least well-known of these 3. You may not know the plot. So this is about a doctor who delivers his own twin son and daughter in the 1960s. And his wife is unconscious because back then sometimes women give birth while unconscious. Anyway, the doctor realizes that his daughter has Down syndrome. So he tells the nurse, Caroline, to go and take the daughter and bring her to a like an inpatient care place where they care for people with Down syndrome. He tells the nurse this while he tells his wife, like when his wife wakes up, he tells her that their daughter died. This was already really messed up. Now I'm realizing more that this was really, really messed up. But that is the plot of The Memory Keeper's Daughter. Now, does romance happen in this book? Yes, it does. Caroline, the nurse, she meets a man and she actually decides, instead of taking the baby girl, whose name is Phoebe, to an inpatient care facility, she will raise her herself. So she raises Phoebe, and at the same time, Caroline falls in love with this man, and they get married, I think, and the 3 of them become this, like, happy family and everything. So, is there romance in it? Yes, there is, between Caroline and the other guy. There is also the doctor, whose name is David or something, I don't know. Him and his wife, their relationship is explored after his lie and how, like, everything just falls apart because he feels so guilty that everything just disintegrates, right? So anyway, the romantic relationship between David and Nora, I think is his wife's name, it plays a huge role in this book, as does the relationship between Caroline and the man that Caroline falls in love with. But the book is not about... It's kind of about David and Nora's relationship, but not in the way that a romance novel would be. This is about a man that lies and deceives, and it's like you could say that it's about David. It's about him. It's about his journey. It's not really about like a couple, if that makes sense. It's about him, and it's about the family. The families, actually, because they become two different families, of course. Now, yeah, this one, I don't like this book very much. But the point is it is not a romance. This one, the romantic relationship is central to the plot. Well, not central. It is important to the plot in this. Perhaps even more so than in this. Well, yes, more so. It is very important to the plot in 13 Reasons Why that Clay, the main character, was in love with Hannah, the girl whose audio cassette suicide note he has now, come into possession of, right? This is not a romance. One big way you can tell that this is not a romance is that the couple does not end up together. Okay? They don't end up together. We already know from the beginning that they will not end up together. So, because, if you don't know, this book is about a teenager named Clay. He was in love with this girl, Hannah, and she committed suicide. And now, at the time of the book, it is, I think, 2 weeks after her suicide, and he gets mailed a package of these, audio cassettes, detailing the 13 reasons, that she committed suicide. So, and it's like 13 people, and he's one of these people, apparently, and he's just like, so, his feelings for Hannah are clearly romantic. His feelings for Hannah clearly affect his actions and affect the novel as a whole very greatly. But that is really not the plot. That is not the main thing going on in this book. Let's talk about Twilight. Now, if Twilight were a book, so Twilight is a book, right? About a girl, human girl, vampire guy, they fall in love. Every book has a central question, okay? Every story actually has a central question, and it's like the conflict, and you want to know how the conflict will be resolved. Now, the central question in this book was something like, will this doctor who told this big lie ever A, tell the truth, or B, have some kind of redemption or something for what he did? Okay? Or like, basically, will this ever, I don't know, but yeah, will he ever have some kind of redemption? So that's this. What is the central question of 13 Reasons Why? Well, the word why is in the title, so I'm going to say the central question of 13 Reasons Why is, why did Hannah Baker commit suicide? We are finding out as we go through the course of the book, but you could also say that there's a question of like what Clay will learn and like what is Clay going to learn from this? But like, I would say we want something a little bit more concrete than that, right? So that. But with a romance novel, the central question, in order for a book to be called a romance novel, the central question has to be, will character A and character B end up together? That is the central question of Twilight. Okay, so yes, there are other things going on. There's some people trying to kill Bella. Vampires trying to kill Bella. There's, what else is going on? I don't know. Something, I don't know. But the main question is, will Bella and Edward end up together? So, romance novels have a specific plot structure. There is like a general story structure that happens, all the time, but romance novels have their own plot structure. And if your story is not structured like a romance, it's not going to be called a romance. Also, it has to be about both characters. Okay, so this is about Bella and Edward. But as I've said with The Memory Keeper's Daughter, it wasn't really about David and Nora. It was about David. We talked about Nora. I mean, yeah, but it wasn't really about her. It wasn't about the two of them. Like, it wasn't about the push and pull and whatever between the two of them so much. So it's not a romance novel. And this is about Hannah and it is about Clay, but it's not about the two of them in the same way, if that makes sense. The person who has like a journey throughout the book, and like, yeah, I would say the person who goes on a journey in this book is Clay, as he is listening to these tapes and as he's learning things. And so it's really Clay's story, if that makes sense. Okay, so if you have any questions, please let me know. If there's anything about this that you would like me to go into more detail with, in which you would, that sentence. But the point is, the point is, please let me know if you have any questions. And if this is, just to sum it up very, very quickly, in a romance novel, romance itself has to be the central plot. If your book is not structured like a romance, it is not a romance. And most people would say it is not a romance if the couple does not end up together in what is called a happily ever after, or AGA, or a happy for now, or HFN. Okay? So most people would say it's not a romance if it doesn't have that last detail. And this is kind of tough for me because there are books to me that feel like romances, but do not have that happily ever after. However, a book can be very, very romantic without being a romance novel. Okay? So, thank you for watching, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.